So glad to have you. Today we're going to be discussing one of the two big announcements from Insomniac Games. The first announcement obviously is the biggest because it's a sequel, but I'm going to touch on the other one real quick and then I'll go into it further in a different video. So Wolverine is a really amazing character, so cool and so adaptable, so easy to put in his own game, put in his own movie, easy to kind of play around with the character and do all sorts of things with him. So I'm so glad that Insomniac Games is teasing us and letting us know that they are on a beautiful Wolverine video game. And if it's anything like what they did with Spider-Man, it is going to be off the charts. It is going to be amazing. The same way Spider-Man was. So first, before I say anything else, before we get into the Spider-Man 2 video game, we need to watch this trailer and then you'll see my reaction and then we'll break it down together in this same video. So stay tuned. There's a lot to come. Can't wait. Let's do this. All right. I gotta make it full screen. At least a lot bigger than that tiny screen. There we go. The one, the only, and Marvel teaming up once again.
For as long as I can remember, I have looked for an equal. One who could push me.
It's Kraven.
One who could surprise me. One who could even beat me. Yet all I found is disappointment. Will one of you finally give me what I desire? Yes, we will.
That's it? Oh, come on. That's all we're gonna get. Oh, so much yet so little to unpack there. So, whew, okay. In that trailer, it's a minute 40 long, so you take out like some of the PlayStation stuff and the intros and who's making it and who's helping. So Insomniac, Sony, PlayStation, and Marvel, the big four on the original two video games, Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, that were massive, massive successes. I love that they're waiting until 2023. That should actually play nicely because then they can kind of see if they need to release it on the PS4 because there's still issues with the PS5 and people having access to it and all of that crazy stuff that's been going on since the start of COVID. Okay, whew. So we've got Miles and Spider-Man fighting together, so that could mean simply there could be some co-op opportunities. That would be amazing. Now that we have Miles and Spidey, we can put them into the same game. It can be one and the same, and we can really dive into an amazing co-op Spidey Miles, Peter Miles team up. This is going to be so cool. this brings about the opportunity to do so many more things with these two characters. Not only can they do more with these characters, they can also bring about more villains. So in this, we hear one and see one. But it doesn't seem like Venom's going to be a villain in this. Because I believe, I'm not saying that it is, I'm not saying that it isn't, but it most likely has to be Kraven. We've already gotten Rhino twice. That's not his voice, that's not his accent. And to say that he's searching for someone who can finally match his ability is really freaking cool. So we've got Kraven the Hunter being teased at as the main villain, and then Venom kind of being teased as possibly a villain. I mean, he's coming out of the shadows. Spider-Man and Peter and Miles are kind of looking at him like, who the heck is this guy? Why is, like, what's going to happen here? Like, they've never met him before. Obviously, he said we, which could mean Venom and Eddie could be the perfect way to fight off Kraven, or Venom, Peter, and Miles, even though they have a hate relationship at the beginning of this, end up teaming up to defeat Kraven. Who knows? Kraven is a really cool villain, and he's almost one of those villains who you can side with, which makes him even more crazy, because you can see where he's coming from and you can kind of tell, okay, this guy might be a little off the mark, but at the same time, he's got some stuff going on up here, and I mean, he's really just trying to be the best hunter he can possibly be. Some people think Spidey's a public menace. Some people think he's a hero. I can see how people would go and lean toward Kraven. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, read the Hunted storyline from Nick Spencer in the Amazing Spider-Man comics. Absolutely phenomenal. I think it's a 6-issue with a few, few mini issues throughout as well, to kind of tie everything together in a nice, pretty bow. Kind of like what they did with Last Remains, which was really cool, where they had like the main story following the arc, and then you had like these 5 other issues that were the side story happening in tandem with what was going on. So 51 LR was happening during the events of 51, which was really cool. But yeah, it should be absolutely amazing to see where we could go from here. What could happen next? Mainly because I don't think we're going to get the Sinister Six back in the same iteration that we got it. I don't think we're going to get a Green Goblin until Spider-Man 3. I don't think we're going to see anything big happen with Spider-Man 2. I think it's going to be a really interesting storyline, developing and creating that co-op feel. And Sony has a really interesting, Sony and Insomniac have a really interesting task ahead of them of how to make this co-op, but still single player, to the point where you can choose or trade between. How is that going to work? What could you do? And while I want to see some newer gameplay and some newer style of gameplay, I also say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there was nothing really broke about Spider-Man or Miles Morales. Both were phenomenal games. Both, for me, got a 10 out of 10. Miles was probably a 9.5 out of 10. It could have been longer. It could have been a little bit more deep. And we could have gotten to know Miles a little bit more. But still, beautifully done game. Amazing game to play. The side missions were perfect. They were just quick. The main mission, the main story was perfect. It was just quick. So, with all that being said, I'm really excited for this. It sucks that we're going to have to wait 2 years for it, because we're probably looking around I would say a release date later in 2023, probably after summer or during summer of 2023, simply so that way they can kind of get into that realm of people buying the PS5 for Christmas and do a little bundle pack and not have too many people who have already purchased it by that time. Again, I cannot wait to see what this ends up looking like. It should be absolutely amazing. So, with all of that being said, and I would love to hear your comments as well down in the comments below. Let's talk more about this. Let's keep going, getting at it, and I'm going to read up on it, see what else there is out there. But just looking at this trailer, that is everything that we know so far about the Spider-Man PS5 game, Spider-Man 2. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day, and hashtag Loungers Unite. If you have not already subscribed, please go up here and click that subscribe button. Head down here for another video, over here for short, and then up here for